Super Anthony characters here, and day 26. All right. So, Anthony, how was your day at school today? Uh, it could have been a little bit better. So, when I arrived to school, before I could go to my science class, I needed to go to room 136 with Miss Bosser, the autism support room. And I had to wait for my friends, and then when all of them came in, we had new point sheets. They changed, and instead of needing 2 or less reminders, I need to get 3 or less reminders now. Yeah, it changed to 3. Maybe it might change to 4 or less one day. Yeah. So, yeah, I had, so every morning before I go to my period 1 class, I need to stop by room 136 in the autism support room to get my point sheet, and then I could go to class. Or I could stay in the autism support room if I have a question for a staff member. If I have a question for a staff member, I could stay in the autism support room. But other than that, I could just get my point sheet and go to class. But if I have a question, I could stay in the room 136 with Miss Bossard's room, and I could ask a staff member a question if I have one. All right, now in science class, my day was good, and I did not need it, and I did the. All right, so my day was good because I I I was respectful. I made good choices. I completed my work, and I followed directions, and I did not need more than 3 reminders. So, yeah, I don't think I needed any reminders. I did the right thing without an adult having to remind me. I did the right thing in science class without a staff member having to remind me or prompt me. So, I had a good day, and so the only thing that's different about our new point sheets is that we have to write down why we earned the check. But if we misbehave, then we're gonna have to give ourselves X's, and we're gonna write down why we earned an X. But that's only if we misbehave. If I misbehave, I'll get an X. But if I behave and have good behavior, I'll get a check. Yeah, my day was good in science. All right, now in so in math class, I needed 2 reminders from staff members. Uh so my number 1 reminder was to greet a staff member when she walked in the room. So when my staff member, Miss Henry, walked in the room, when she said hello everybody, I ignored Miss Henry, and then I said, Josh, we ignored Miss Henry. And then and then and then my teacher, Miss Henry, must have said that I was only talking to Josh, because she said, you ignored me too. And then I said, oh, I was talking about both of us, not just Joshua. But that was a reminder, because what do I need to say when someone walks in? Greet them. And yeah, that was my number 1 reminder for not greeting the staff member when she walked in and ignoring her. Yeah, that was a reminder, because it's rude to ignore people sometimes. Yeah, sometimes it's rude to ignore people. Yeah, it depends on what they do. Yeah, sometimes you can't ignore people. It could be rude. So that was a reminder for ignoring Miss Henry when she greeted everybody in the classroom. All right, now I'm gonna tell you why I got a second reminder. So my my paraprofessional, Miss Henry, put her belongings in my area on my desk. And to be honest, I thought that she was gonna have her stuff in my area forever. I thought that she was gonna have her stuff on my desk forever. But it turns out she just needed to put it there for a minute, and then she was gonna move it. And here's why I got my second reminder, because I just said, "Can you please move your stuff?" But you want to know what I forgot to do? I forgot to address Miss Henry by her name. I forgot to say, "Miss Henry, may you please move my stuff?" But instead, I just said, "May you please move your stuff?" When I'm talking to somebody or when I'm addressing somebody, I need to say their name. Because if I just say, "Can you please move your stuff?" The staff member might not know who I'm talking to. So if I'm addressing somebody, then, or if I'm saying hello to somebody, I need to say their name. I can't just say, because they might not know I'm talking to them. So that was another reminder, because I could have said, "Miss Henry, may you please move your stuff?" Because if I say, "May you please move your stuff," then she might have not known I was talking to her, because I didn't say her name. So I should have said her name. So that was my second reminder, because Miss Henry has a name. So I need to say it. I could have said, "Miss Henry, may you please move your stuff?" And then she would have moved it. But instead, I just said, "May you please move your stuff," without even saying her name. Yeah. When I'm greeting somebody, or if I'm trying to address somebody, I need to say the person's name. I can't just say a word, because if I say something, if I try to greet somebody, or if I try to address somebody without even using their name, then they might not know I'm talking to them, or they might want me to say their name. So from now on, if I'm addressing somebody, or if I'm trying to greet somebody, or if somebody greets me, I'm gonna not ignore them. And when I greet somebody, or if I address somebody, I'm gonna use their name. And I'm not just gonna say things without saying the person's name, because if I don't say the person's name, then they're not gonna know I'm talking to them, or they're gonna probably want me to say their name. So next time, I'm just gonna say the person's name. All right, I had a good day in math class, but it just could have been a little bit better because I needed 2 reminders. But all right. But Anthony, did Miss Bosser tell you that, do you get reminders as a punishment, or do you get reminders to learn from your mistakes? Anthony, when you get tally marks, when you get reminders, are reminders a punishment, or do you get reminders to learn from your mistakes? I get tally marks and reminders to learn from my mistakes. Yeah, it's not a punishment. It's just to make you learn from your mistakes. Yeah, it's not a punishment. So don't think that it's a punishment, because it's not a punishment. All right, now in music class, in music class, so the music teacher wasn't here today. So we had a substitute, because the music teacher wasn't here today. But the music teacher did say that she was going to be here on Thursday. Yeah. My music teacher was not here today, so we had a substitute. And the substitute was taking attendance, and he called some students by their first name and then some of them by their last name. Like last name Tillery, last name Prado, last name, and he addressed some students by their first name. Some by the first, some by the last name. And and Mr. And my paraprofessional, Mr. F, took me to room 136 to the autism support room to have some free time because we didn't have any work to do. Plus, he didn't also take us there because we had no work to do. He also took us there because there are 4 boys that Mr. Fortuna believes that he believes that they like to goof around and they misbehave. Sometimes they do misbehave, but maybe they goof around sometimes, but yeah, maybe. So we went to room 136 and Mr. Fortuna explained to me and Josh that it isn't a punishment. And then he said to me, Anthony, if you want, I can make it a consequence. Because if it were a punishment, if you happen to go to room 136 to the autism support room, if it were a punishment, then you probably wouldn't be having no computer break. You probably wouldn't be able to have any computer time. But you having to come to room 136 to have a conversation with an adult about your behavior or something, that's a punishment. But if you want, I can make it a consequence. And then I said, no, not necessary. And then he said, all right, okay. And then we went to lunch. And then we went straight back to room 136 to the autism support room. And then I only used 1 hall pass. I never used up all my hall pass. I only used 1. Yeah, I never leave classrooms more than 1 time. So I usually only leave it 1 time. So I asked my teacher, Miss Bossert, to use the bathroom. And I did not ask my teacher, Miss Bossert, to use the bathroom. I did not ask to use the bathroom just so I could have some extra time in the hallway or anything. I asked my teacher, Miss Bossert, to use the bathroom because I really needed to go. Yeah, I didn't ask her to go to the bathroom so I could have some extra time in the hallway or so I could lollygag in the bathroom or anything. So I could lollygag in the hallway. Yeah, I didn't ask my teacher to use the bathroom so I could do any of that foolishness. Yeah, I asked to use the bathroom when I really need to use it. I don't ask my teachers or paraprofessionals to use the bathroom just so I could have some extra time in the hallway or so I could skip class or anything. I never skipped class before. The last time I skipped class was when I was in elementary school. When I was in like 2nd grade. I hid in the stairwell and I didn't get caught, but I went back to class after 10 minutes or something. The last time I skipped class was when I was in elementary school and when I was in like 2nd grade. I skipped class, but actually I did get caught by a staff member and I did get in a little trouble, but I was young and I was like 7. Yeah, but I don't skip class. Skipping class is not cool. Some kids think it's cool to skip class, but it's not cool. It's bad to skip class. Skipping class is not good and it's not cool. I don't think it's cool to skip class, and it wasn't and then I had a good day in music class and I did not need any reminders. I needed 0 reminders. So I had a good day in music class because I was a serious student. It's just, I don't know what serious student really means, so I was respectful, I made good choices, I completed my work, I followed directions, and I did not need more than 3 reminders. So I earned the check, and I wrote why I earned the check. Alright, now in ELA class, I needed 3 reminders. But I was close to getting an X. I was very close. I needed 3 reminders for not paying attention or following directions. Yeah, I was very close to getting an X, but good thing I did not. I was very close. I was getting there, but good thing I didn't. Good thing I didn't earn an X. But I needed 3 reminders for not paying attention and for not following directions. 3 reminders. But just because I didn't earn an X, that doesn't mean that I should need 3 reminders all the time. I gotta try to get less than that. Even though my goal is to need 3 or less reminders, I'm gonna try to get no reminders. Like I did in all my other classes, like I did in science, and like I did in music. But I only needed reminders in math and English. I needed 2 reminders in math, and I needed 3 in English. And that's not good. So in math and English, tomorrow I'm gonna try to get no reminders. But if it doesn't work out, then I'll try again next time. Alright, now in MTSS we had to take some notes on risky chat, I believe it's called. And then after that, I didn't get to have any cash out, but I packed up, I cleaned up, and I put my chair up. And they made the announcements late for the walkers and car riders. They made the announcements late. So I was late to get to my car ride because they made the announcements late. But my teacher sponsor told me that even though they didn't make the announcements, we could still go. And then I tried to go out the door, and then the assistant principal said, Anthony, we haven't made the announcements yet, so you might want to go back to class until we dismiss walkers and car riders. So but while I was about to go back to class, I stopped because I heard an announcement, and then I didn't even make it back to Miss Bossard's class because I stopped because the announcements came on. And then it said, good afternoon, Skyline students. At this time, walkers and car riders may be dismissed. At this time, walkers and car riders may be dismissed. And then I got dismissed. So I didn't make it back to Miss Bossard's class, but I did make it. But I stopped because of the announcements, and then they dismissed walkers and car riders. And I walked out, and then I went to my car ride. Yeah. My day in school was good, but I got new point sheets, and my day could have been a little bit better because I needed 2 reminders in math, and I needed 3 reminders in English, and I needed reminders in math for ignoring my paraprofessional Miss Henry when she greeted everybody in room 136. Yeah, I should have never did that. I should have just said hello. Yeah, I should have never ignored Miss Henry, so that was a reminder because that was rude. And number 2, I got a reminder for not saying Miss Henry's name when I was trying to address her. When I'm trying to address somebody or when I'm trying to talk to somebody, I gotta say the person's name. I can't just talk without saying the person's name. Because if I do that, then how are they supposed to know I'm talking to them? So next time, I'm gonna say the person's name because they have a name. Yeah. Next time, I'm gonna say the person's name to get their attention, or to say something to them. Say their name. And in math and in English class, I needed 3 reminders for not paying attention and for not following directions. And I was very close to getting an X. But good thing I did not get an X because I turned everything on. Yeah, but tomorrow when I have math and English, I'm going to try to get no reminders. But I hope I get no reminders. Alright, guys. Me and Cesar talked about my day at school. And my day at school could have been a little bit better because I needed 2 reminders in math. And I needed 3 reminders in English. Alright, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will see you in my next video. Alright, guys. Goodbye.